So, hi everybody, welcome to the live Freedom Frequency show this November 30th, 2025. And today I'm going to talk about, being in the club. The famous George Carlin quote, it's a big club and we ain't in it. I'm going to expand on that, what it means and who's actually in it, how can we deduce that? And I also have some videos for you, some very interesting videos for you that I'm going to play in relationship to this subject. So welcome everybody. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you're new to my channel. We're going to do a deep dive in this live today, and I'm already seeing some people logging on. That's good. I say hi, Holly from Ontario, from Canada. So it's early for you. It's early in the morning for you. I'm still on European time, but we'll be in Canada soon. So welcome everybody. I see more and more people catching on. So I'm going to talk about that, being in the club, You see here, I chose this thumbnail, the Illuminati hand sign, because they're flashing it everywhere. I mean, I'm in conspiracy for a long time, and I have this book that was written a long time ago. Well, I think 2 decades ago, 20 years ago, by Tex Mars, a researcher, not to be confused with Jim Mars, but Tex Mars, he's also a conspiracy researcher, and he written a book that is like this thick, with all pictures of people flashing Illuminati hand signs. I have it in my, personal conspiracy library. And this book is 20 years old, but it's just crazy. The amount of pictures he has of people flashing these signs that are that show that there is like some communication happening of secret societies, of Illuminati hand signs, secret handshakes. And we know that, in the entertainment industry, we know that the Illuminati, they push people to the front, people that need to be successful, people that need to execute certain parts of their agenda, that are like basically controlled. Either they're connected to the club or they're in the club. So I'm going to talk about that in the first part of the show, and then I'm going to also share some positive news at the end of the show. So I want to balance it out with some positive news. So stay tuned for that. So it's a big club and we ain't in it. And I would have loved to play that, that beautiful George Carlin. He was a master. He died in 2008. A master of critiquing of freedom of free speech. I would have loved to play that clip actually to introduce this show, but I can't because they would copyright strike me, so I can't play that clip of George Carlin. But it's if you just look it up, if you do George Carlin, it's a big club. I mean, in it. It's like a 3-minute segment. It's just classic. It's a true classic, and that's where this quote comes from. So let us start by talking about being in the club. What does it mean? So I think we got to be careful of saying people are in the club or not, because I need evidence. I need some solid pointers that these people are connected to the elites, whether it's an actor, a musician, a YouTube personality. I need evidence. Some people really, like I spoke in my show last week also, I actually really expanded on that. I ranted a bit about that in my last show. Is some people really use the term controlled opposition so quickly. He's controlled, he's part of the club, when maybe it's not, or maybe it's more subtle than that. I spoke about that in my previous show, but in this show I want to go deeper in really what it means to be in the club, because I need solid evidence. It's not enough for me to just work around basic evidence. We got to interpret the evidence as it is. So there was news this week that actually inspired me to do this, and that is this. I'm going to make it bigger for you guys. So you see here, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. So let me bring it back. So this here. So number one YouTuber, Mr. Beast, partners with the Rockefeller Foundation. Now, Mr. Beast is basically the most famous YouTuber in the world. He has the most subscriptions in the world, at least when it comes to active subscribers. So he has like basically, I think, 460 million subscribers. That's almost 500 million. This is crazy. 500 million subscribers. This is absolutely insane. And he makes these entertainment videos. I personally really do not like them. I watched some and I have turned it off very quickly. There's just something about it that I don't like. And it turns out why I don't like it. Now we know why. Now I know why. But this guy partners with the Rockefeller Foundation. So this is absolutely, The Rockefeller Foundation, and I actually talk a lot about the Rockefeller Foundation in my book, A World in Transition. I really go deep into that. My book, A World in Transition, is available on Amazon. You can, it's just in every country. So, Amazon.com, even in Japan, the JP. So you can surf to your local Amazon or use the link in the description box below, and it takes you to your local Amazon for my book. That actually talks a lot about the Rockefellers and stuff. So if you want to go really in depth, I recommend my book. So anyway, the Rockefellers, they are this elite family that became huge, rich in the oil industry, and that started the Rockefeller Foundation. And it's through these foundations, through the money they employ strategically with these foundations, they influence the agenda. So, but traditionally, which the Rockefeller Foundation really worked in the background. They were like not really overt. And this is, now they're partnering with, Mr. Beast, the number one YouTuber, which, is a total change in how they are actually behaving in the past. There was like a video with the president, Mr. Beast, with the president of the Rockefeller Foundation talking, filming it with their smartphone. Filming with their smartphone, the president of the Rockefeller Foundation with Mr. Beast, like this, like a selfie style, being cool, and talking selfie style to the camera. I mean, the president of the Rockefeller Foundation, just absolutely insane. This is a big change, because for something like the Rockefeller Foundation to partner with, and to have that visibility, and to make these clips, like these cool clips, selfie style with Mr. Beast. He has a young audience, a very young audience. It's a total change in how the elites, especially the Rockefellers are performing, and I feel like they're coming even more out into the open, and they're trying to seem sympathetic. They're trying to catch the young audience, right? Because Mr. Beast has largely a young audience. A lot of young people like his clips. I don't like it at all, but so there's really a change happening here. They're trying to be more sympathetic, and there's also this new clip of Klaus Schwab, for example, and I'm going to show it to you guys. I forgot to load it in, but I'll look it up for you guys, because it's just absolutely. Wait, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, this one. So this is crazy. So these elites are suddenly all doing like selfie style, just not very professional videos. There's like a reason behind this. Look at this one. I mean, this is from Klaus Schwab. I had to laugh so hard when I saw this. Klaus Schwab, the head of the World Economic Forum. Look at this.
Welcome to the Schwab Academy. The mission of the Schwab Academy.
I mean, I'm going to play that intro again. I mean, look at this. This guy was head of the World Economic Forum, which is like a very professional organization. And just he opens the door like it's like his grandpa in his chalet. Like, look at this.
Welcome to the Schwab Academy.
I mean,
the mission of the
this
Schwab
is weirdly
Academy
funny.
is to prepare people for.
And look at the ending. Like he's sitting there. It's like looks so unprofessional.
Provide a kind of introduction.
I'm
looking at specific areas where I can help people to understand.
There's a zoom out and there's like leaves on his patio. What is this? Right? Now, the thing is, you're not going to tell me like a person like Klaus Schwab doesn't know that this looks really unprofessional. This is like just taken with a smartphone. Why do they do this? It's just like the same with the Rockefeller Foundation and Mr. Beast. They're trying to seem more normal. They're trying to really come out more. Like, even, I never thought I would see the president of the Rockefeller Foundation doing selfie style with Mr. Beast. So they're really coming out more. They want to be seen as normal, the normal guys, that are helping humanity, but they're not. And a lot of awake people know it. And we're not a lot of awake people. They won't fool us, because the Rockefeller Foundation, I mean, really heavily involved with the agenda. Like the Bill Gates Foundation, they use these foundations. I mean, I talk about it in my book. The Rockefeller Foundation is involved in eugenics. They started eugenics in America and then brought it to Nazi Germany. I mean, it's insane. They are really instrumental in creating the World Health Organization that is controlling, of course, that played such a huge role during the pandemic. I mean, the World Health Organization was basically modeled after the Rockefeller Foundation. it's in documents. It's proven in documents. It's just insane. So they're coming out more in the open. So being in the club. So if back to the what I was saying. Being in the club. Let me see if I can bring it up here again. So here, being in the club like this. Okay, I'm not going to say that you're in the club or connected to it if there's no evidence. But if you're partnering with the Rockefeller Foundation, yes, then I'm going to say that. So this is what I mean with evidence. There needs to be provable direct links to these elite organizations. And so, is this guy Mr. Beast? Did he sell out? We don't know exactly what the link is, right? We got to be intellectually honest with ourselves. Yes, but did he sell out? Did he become big and then they co-opted him? Did he become part of the club? Or was he their product from the beginning? We don't know, right? But now we can establish, okay, there's a possibility here that he was maybe their Manchurian candidate from the beginning. Because, even with the name Mr. Beast, it's like, the beast from the Bible, the 666, the devil basically, right? So, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I won't be watching Mr. Beast, but I expect his content to go transhumanist mode. And actually, his recent video is like people against robots. So, tells you something right there, right? So this is what I mean, like in what I said in my previous video. I need evidence, and this is like, okay, if you are partnering with the Rockefeller Foundation and you're standing doing like this selfie video with president of the Rockefeller Foundation, you're at least connected to the club, or maybe you've been their product from the beginning. And that's what the second thing I want to talk. Some people are really pushed on stage to be their product, to be the elite's product, the elite's, how would I say this? Puppet from the beginning. And I'm going to play you here a clip of Anneke Lucas, and I've talked a lot about her on my previous shows, where she was able to escape from the club. She was actually brought into it at a young age, but she was able to escape from it. She's lucky to be alive, actually. So she was able to escape from it. And her story shows that there are people out there that are groomed since childhood to play a certain role. On stage. It's like, it's a true mind control. So I'm going to play this clip here where she talks about her own experience, how she's being groomed. So she was brought into the network through the Belgian network, brought into the club, and then she says it was decided that she would be trained as a famous French singer, and she would be on the world stage. She would have the material riches. She would have a sparkling career, and she would, have. It was planned for her to have like relationships with big people, big politicians, so she could also function as a spy in that capacity. So that was her mind control training. So they put her through mind control training to become a singer because they discovered she had natural talent as a singer. So they use the natural talents. They look which kids have natural talents for certain things, and then they use that natural talents in the mind control to own them, to make them like basically a Manchurian candidate, a totally mind-controlled candidate. That's how they do it. So let me play you this clip of Anneke Lucas where she talks about this, how they did it with her.
So the big shot was going to make a persona out of me. And for that, he first, even though he was from one of those families that are really big and famous, he first had to go and get some approval from somebody else, from another family, and that other family, or that person in that other family, was clearly higher up in the hierarchy of the network. It's like, because he not only got approval, but he also, these two men together with me there present, decided sort of the persona that I was going to become. But it was clear from seeing them together that the one whom we were visiting at the time was the one making the decisions. And that persona, then the next year when that was put into action, so then I was put in the mind control training. That was not very pleasant. But then afterwards, I had another kind of training, and that I call my narcissist training. But this was where I was going to be an entertainer, as I said. And for this, at 9 years old, I was put, it was really a large basement, but all comforts were there. And I was treated really, really nicely. I wouldn't say that I was treated well, but what was made clear to me there is that I'm special. And everybody treated me that way. And I had a group of people around me who were going to be my entourage, or they acted as my entourage then. And I had a feeling that they were going to be sticking with me. They were talking about future. And they were all very, very nice. And they were treating not me, but mostly my body, let's say my persona, as object of worship. So I was naked. They were all dressed and I was naked. And that was part of this training. So when I was getting singing lessons, they must have determined, my family, my father's side were all classical musicians. So they were going to make me a singer, actress.
So you see here how it's so this is how she was actually, determined to function as a singer. So, how many of these people are around? I mean, Anneke was able to escape from it, but how many, famous politicians, famous, YouTube personalities, famous actors, famous singers are, groomed like this and were mind controlled since youth to act in this way? I mean, I can think of a few. Of course, we don't really know until we have like some real pointers, right? But you just look at what they're saying, right? And what agenda they're promoting, you get the picture. So this has been happening, for a long, long time. And this is what I'm saying. Like, there is circumstantial evidence. For example, you see somebody like Lady Gaga promoting the absolute, the agenda, right? I mean, she was promoting the shots. Her clips are really weird about transhumanism and stuff. I don't know for a fact if she's like that. I'm not saying that, but there's a possibility there. But when you see, so for example, somebody partnering with the Rockefeller Foundation, then okay, like it's like you either have sold out or maybe you were theirs from the beginning, right? And so it's really good to be aware of that. And this is something that really needs to break out more to a bigger public, because when people realize that this thing has been going on for decades, they're going to be like, okay, you're saying things to me, but are you actually for real, or are you just, being a mind-controlled person, promoting the agenda, right? That's very, very important. So another clip I want to show you is an old one, and I specifically choose an old one because this stuff has been coming out for decades. So this is a clip from 1990 that I'm going to show you of a guy called Paul Bonacci, and how he also was groomed to, to do certain things. So let me play that clip here. Oh, I don't see the clip. Just a second, guys. I think I accidentally unloaded the clip, but I can easily get it back. So here it is. Okay.
I was created by a government program.
Which government program?
Monarch.
And what is Monarch?
Monarch is an operation that was created by the United States government to create spies for other countries. They use children for the purpose that they are easily integrated into multiple personalities because they can dissociate. The program was to, as a young man, get adults who were powerful political leaders into positions where they could be compromised.
That was your mission?
That was the initial mission. The whole mission was for me to go into the military service and become an officer, and a few years after that retire from the service. Not retire after 20 years, but after 6 years, and move to Germany. And then their initial plan to take over or to run the government was to put me in an ambassador spot, and then later to come back to the United States and to run for an office, and they would be the ones who controlled everything that I did.
So you would be an operative, so to speak?
I would be a puppet.
A puppet. And you say this plan broke down in 1986, but yet you told me that you still felt that you were under the control.
I am still under their control because I do not answer phones anymore because that's how they get the others to the triggers, is what I'll call them. They're not personalities, they contain no memories at all. They were put in as hypnotic suggestions and only come out when, as I said, a code is presented to them. And that happened several times in 1989, which is why Paul and Mikey's memories are so confused. At that time, they were attempting to destroy me because they were attempting to access suicidal personalities and other personalities that would get me in trouble with law enforcement. When they programmed the personalities, or the triggers, as I called them, they would call me up and they would use a code. I would simply switch into that trigger, go to where they told me to go, whether it would be or get on an airplane because they would already have the tickets there. They would have the tickets there under a name that only that trigger would know, and go to wherever it was. There would be somebody waiting for them in that city and take them to wherever it was that they were supposed to go, bring them back to the airport, put them on the plane. They would come back home, and as soon as they walked in the door, the memory of everything that had just happened would be erased completely.
So see here, so this is from 1990, right? So the truth was out there already very, very early. So this guy broke free in 1986, but they were still able to like control him because they get phone calls and then certain codes get set, and then they switch into that personality, and he also has like suicide programming that if the truth would be found out, that he would go in a suicide personality. I mean, it's just crazy. It's just insane, and this is also what Anneke Lucas said, that she also had those same things done to her. So this reminds me, like what he says with the phone calls, that they control them to phone calls. This is exactly what is being shown in the movie Manchurian Candidate from 2004. So this is the scene, and I would have showed you this scene, guys, but I cannot show it because I would get a copyright strike. But this is the scene from the movie. If you haven't seen the movie, it's actually a pretty good movie. Go watch it. It's with Denzel Washington. It's a great movie actually, and it kind of like exposes it a little bit, like it just shows it like in your face. So this guy, he's like about to be the president of the United States, and he gets this phone call, and he then gets controlled, and he just goes wherever they tell him to go, and then he forgets it, exactly like that mind control survivor Paul Bonacci said in 1990. So this scene it's a great scene. It shows it. So they show it in the Hollywood movies, of course. So that is that. So there are those people out there, and probably more than you think. In the entertainment industry and in the political scene, right? And some of them don't even realize it because they're mind controlled, right? Until they switch to a different personality, and that's the tricky part of it. So anyway, so before I go into some good news, this is heavy. This may be heavy information. It is heavy information because it's the darkness coming to the light. So that's why we also got take care of our own vibration. And I actually want to present my course 14 days to a higher vibration for that, because especially as a conspiracy theorist, like for me also, I do research in conspiracy. It's important to like connect with the light, to be mindful of your own vibration. And I created actually my course for that, 14 days to a higher vibration, to really work on your energy, to really connect with these lighter energies, to build that framework within yourself, to be more resistant to these fear media, to the lower information. Especially as an awake person, it can be very intense. Waking up is very intense. So I got my course to 40 days to a higher vibration, to really help you to become more resistant to that negative information, because you build within yourself the blueprint of a higher frequency. So if you're interested, check that out. So onto the last part of the show, and I told you I would end with some good news. And the good news is this, and I really, really like this. So I'm going to bring it up for you guys. So Cornwall, which is a region in the UK, is the first local authority in the UK to go against the digital ID. So Cornwall has, they introduced a vote into the Cornwall Council, the local Cornwall Council, and a vote to formally say to the UK government, we don't want the digital ID. And the vote was passed. So the vote was passed with with a great majority. So I think 70 people said yes, 6 said no, and 2 abstained. So this is amazing news, because this shows that on the local level we can give pushback. In Cornwall, they don't want to have it. And I've actually been to Cornwall. In our trips we organized with NEC, we did 2 trips there. We did multiple trips there. We also did trips. We organized spiritual group trips. There's one coming up pretty soon. Not pretty soon, but we're gonna launch one in the coming months. So stay tuned for that if you're interested. We're traveling around with a group, doing meditations and connecting with the energies. We did that also in Cornwall. And in Cornwall, what was really, I really discovered that Cornwall is really like, they have that sense of independence. They don't want any government looking over their shoulder. And that's why, Cornwall is the first, I think is the first in the UK and maybe in the world. So this is great news. And this is how we do it, because you're not going to change the top of the government, because the top of the government is totally infiltrated with this agenda. So pushback needs to come from the local level, from the bottom up. And this is how we do it. Thinking of that song, "This Is How We Do It," just pops into my head. This is how we do it. It's pushback on the local level, going to your local mayor, saying, "Mayor, there's something weird going on here with, they're grabbing the farmers' lands." And actually, in Belgium, that happened too. There was an Agenda 2030, that dystopian plan from the United Nations that they're trying to push everywhere, taking the farmers' lands, putting people in 50-minute cities. And actually, a few mayors in Belgium, that was news that was like in the news last year, pushed back from the local level, because they were saying, what is this plan? This is like the most weird plan that we've ever seen. Trying to get people out of their houses, off the land, and they pushed back. And of course, the media is not going to report on this, because the media is totally controlled. But this is how we do it. This is how it needs to be done. It's pushback on the local level. So yes, we can make a difference. And it's always like that. There's always one that has to show the guts. Like when you're in a group, like there's always one that is the leader, that does the first step. But then the others follow. So with Cornwall, this is the first, and the others are going to follow. They're going to see, okay, we don't want this either, because you have to have the guts to be the first. And Cornwall had the guts to be the first, to say no to the government. We don't want this stuff. So, and now others will follow. So that is absolutely great and absolutely amazing. And this is, in my opinion, one of the big things is how we are going to get out of this. Is their influence on the local level needs to crumble down, and there needs to be more pushback. There needs to be more non-compliance. That is the word, non-compliance. That is the key word, that is the key word. It's not gonna be done through violence, because violence is their language. It's gonna be done through non-compliance, like Cornwall did. No violence, just saying, we don't want this. And I'll keep my eye on this to see how this evolves, because this is very important. This is very important. So I want to share this good news too. It's a small win, but it's a win nevertheless. It's a win nevertheless. And this is how it grows from bottom up. This is how it grows, the pushback to this agenda. So that's why we also all, if you feel called to, need to be involved, also speak out on the local level, because there is this plan. And in Cornwall, they're pretty, I guess they're pretty awake there of what's coming. People are waking up. This is also good times, because we are waking up and we are pushing back, and pushback needs to happen, absolutely. So yeah, so I'm at the end of the show, and Hilde says, yes, absolutely. I'm very excited with that too. So yeah, so I don't know if there are not any questions anymore. I'm gonna close this show. I'm almost at the half-hour mark. I try to keep my shows around the half-hour, the live shows. Also for you guys, I'm also doing 2 other shows on YouTube this week, but those will not be live. Those will be uploads. So I have another show coming up titled Frequency Wars. It's going to be for Thursday. And I have another card pool. So I'm doing also one conspiracy card pool every week, where I look at conspiracy subjects and pull the cards on it and talk about it. I have one conspiracy card pool coming up on the Epstein files, also on Tuesday. So that's basically my schedule. I do a live show on Sunday. I do a video conspiracy card pool on Tuesday, and then another video based more on my research and my book on Thursday. So check it out and subscribe if you want to be notified of the live shows and the uploads. So thank you everybody for watching. I'm seeing there's no more questions. The chat is kind of silent. The chat is kind of silent today, but that's fine. Maybe it was the subject, because it was the heavy subject. But anyway, I'm seeing you guys next week, or seeing you guys maybe Tuesday for the conspiracy card pull. So thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you on another show soon. Thank you. Bye bye.